The story of Adam and Eve is found at the beginning of the Bible, in the book of Genesis. It is a story about the first man and woman created by God. Adam and Eve were not just the first humans, they were given a special place in God's creation. God created Adam in his own image, breathing life into him. He was placed in the Garden of Eden, a paradise where everything was perfect. Eve was later created from Adam's rib, signifying their close connection and partnership. They lived in harmony with God and all of creation. They were given dominion over the animals and tasked with tending to the garden. Adam and Eve's story is the foundation of the Bible's understanding of humanity, our relationship with God, and the consequences of sin. The Garden of Eden was a real place, described in Genesis as a lush garden full of delicious fruits and flowing rivers. It represents the perfect world that God created. There was no pain, suffering, or death. The garden also symbolizes the close relationship between God and humanity. God would walk in the garden with Adam and Eve, talking with them and providing for their needs. It was a place of peace, abundance, and perfect communion with the Creator. However, the garden also contained the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God commanded Adam and Eve not to eat from this tree, warning them that doing so would bring death. This tree symbolized a choice, to obey God and trust in his goodness, or to choose their own way and face the consequences. The Garden of Eden, therefore, represents both the blessings of obedience and the potential for disobedience and its consequences. One day, a serpent, often understood as Satan, tempted Eve to eat the forbidden fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The serpent questioned God's word, suggesting that God was holding something back from them. Tempted by the serpent's deception and the allure of becoming like God, Eve gave in and ate the fruit. She then gave some to Adam, and he ate it too. This act of disobedience is known as the fall. The moment they ate the fruit, their relationship with God was broken. They felt shame and fear for the first time. They realized they were naked and tried to hide from God. The fall had immediate consequences. God cursed the serpent, brought pain into childbirth, and made it difficult to work the land. Most significantly, Adam and Eve were banished from the Garden of Eden, separated from God's presence. The story of Adam and Eve teaches us important lessons about human nature, sin, and God's character. We learn that God created us for relationship with him, placing us in a perfect world. However, we also see humanity's capacity for disobedience and its devastating consequences. The fall demonstrates the seriousness of sin and its impact on our relationship with God and each other. It brought sin and death into the world. The story also highlights God's holiness and justice, as he cannot allow sin to go unpunished. Despite the fall, the story also offers hope. God did not abandon Adam and Eve. He provided a way for their descendants to be reconciled to him through faith in Jesus Christ. The story of Adam and Eve is a foundational narrative. It explains the origin of sin and suffering, the need for redemption, and the hope we have in God's plan for humanity's salvation.
No, that's not true. You could Google it though. Okay.